This is Let's Start Playing, and welcome to my teach of Barrage. Aim of Barrage is to score the most victory points at the end of 5 rounds of play. So the rounds are tracked along here. This is round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are a number of ways to earn victory points in Barrage, and most resolve around creating power and building constructions. First of all, I'll explain how you can generate power. Understanding this core concept will help me to explain all of the actions. The first requirement to generate power is to have water trapped behind either a dam you control or a neutral dam. Water trapped behind an opponent's dam, so in this game I am red, my opponent is black. Water trapped behind an opponent's dam cannot be used to generate power for yourself. You can generate more power based on how much water is stuck behind the dam. So in this case there's 2 water here, so this will get double the amount of energy. The amount of water that can be stuck behind a dam is equal to how high the dam is tall. So this neutral dam has 3 levels. So this is 3 tall. Whilst in this example, this is only 1 tall. So only 1 water can be stuck behind this dam. If any more water gets stuck behind here, it will overflow and flow down the river. Part 2 of creating power is to have a conduit attached to the dam, but with the water stuck behind. This can be your conduit or an opponent's conduit. If it's an opponent's one, however, you'll have to pay them 1 coin per water that gets passed through. Lastly, you'll need a powerhouse for the water to run into. Because I have 2 water here, an opponent's conduit here, and a powerhouse down here, this is a valid spot for me to generate power. And the amount of power I would generate is this number here in pink, multiplied by the number of water droplets. So in this case, I would generate 2 power. Now I'll go over the actions in Barrage. Action spaces are lifted down the left hand side here, and I'll go for each one now. Barrage is a worker placement game. At the beginning of each round, you're given 12 workers. These action slots have 2 sides. The ones on the left will give you a discounted version of the action. When an action is taken by a player, it blocks that spot for all opponents until the end of that round. The first action is the Turbine Station. This is how you can generate power. These are highlight when you're eligible to generate power. And what you do is you place the number of workers as indicated here. And along the top of the board here will tell you the options you have for generating power currently. So because I have a powerhouse here, 2 drips in this dam, and this is a neutral dam, this is eligible for me to create power from. What I would do is I'd simply click this button and power would be generated equal to the number in pink. The reason why this is 4 is because there's 2 drops here and they're feeding through a 1 generator. So that's 2, and I get 2 additional 2 from this action. There's a second option here which is to produce free power with 1 drop, and that's because I don't have to use both drops when I generate power. So whenever you generate power, you can fulfill a contract. Let's show you how this works. I'm going to send 1 power through, generate free power, and then I can fulfill a contract with an energy requirement of at most 3. I'll explain contracts soon, but because this has a 3 here, I can fulfill this contract. Water management lets you place additional water into the head streams of the rivers. We can show you here. I'll get to place 2 droplets in up to 2 different head streams, or you can place them both in the same one, and this will flow at the beginning of next round. Now let's look how water flows. Water builds up at these head streams at the top of each river, and water will flow out of these head streams at the beginning of each round. These waters will move from this area into this area here, and then continue down the river until it runs into a dam. So when they end the round here, these 2 waters will flow down here, all the way until they hit this neutral dam here. This will fill up to 3 water. Because it has 3 water in here and this dam is only 2 high, 1 water will overflow and continue down this river until it hits this dam here. And because this dam is 3 high and there's 2 water here, the water will stop flowing. Let's see this in action. So you can see the water's flowing down here, and then 1 overflowed and stopped here. And that happened at the beginning of the second round. The second option lets me place 1 water, but it immediately flows down the river, like so. And gets stuck at the first dam it encounters. The bank action lets you trade in any number of workers for coins. This is how you can generate money for yourself. Before I explain the workshop, I'm going to explain how we can construct buildings onto the board. So if we come down to our player board down here, you can see there's some action locations along the top of your board here. The first time you build a building, it will only cost you 1 engineer to build. Second time it will cost you 2 engineers. Third time it will cost you 3 engineers. And the fourth time it will cost you 3 engineers and 3 coins. At the top of Board Game Arena, it will always ask you if you want to construct a building. Along the top here, save you scrolling all the way down to the bottom of the page. If you click on this, all it does is automatically put a worker in slot 1 for you. Next, you'll be asked to select a technology tile and a space to build a structure. All the places I'm eligible to build structures in are highlighted in red on the board straight away. And all the structures that I'm eligible to build are highlighted in red. Let's explain the 4 different types of structures. First off, we have the dam. These catch water on the rivers. Waters caught in your dam or in neutral dams can be used to generate you power. The cost to build these depends on the location. These cost excavators, which are these brown icons here. And you can see how many excavators you've got up here at a quick glance. You can see it costs 3 excavators to build on the plains, 4 excavators to build on the hills, and 5 excavators to build on the mountains. If we look at the board, this top level of dams are mountains, this middle level is hills, and this bottom level is plains. So it's cheaper for you to build along the bottom here. So if I was to build a base, it's called, and place it down here, it would cost me 3 of my excavators. The next we have elevation for dams. So this is how you can build your dams up higher so they can hold more water. And these have the similar costs to the dams themselves: 2 on plains, 3 on hills, and 4 on mountains. However, these cost concrete mixers, which are these grey icons up here, and these are tracked here as well. So you have 3 main resources in Barrage. One is coins, one is excavators, and one are concrete mixers. Next we have conduits. They are these buildings here. These are the ones that let you generate power from water caught behind dams and send them along these pipes. These cost a number of excavators equal to double the power generation of the particular conduit location. If we come up to the board, this location here generates free power. So this would cost me 6 excavators to build here. So if I was to confirm this, I would immediately spend 6 of my excavators from here. With conduits, remember that the amount of power you generate is equal to this pink amount, and you need to have a powerhouse on the other end of it. Water will flow following yellow or whatever colored path connected to the conduit, and the water needs to be trapped behind either your dam or a neutral dam. Last we have powerhouses, and powerhouses enable generation of power, as long as they are connected to a conduit and water is behind your dam or a neutral dam. These cost concrete mixers, 2 for your first one, and the cost increases by 1 for each powerhouse built. And that's tracked down here. Let's go ahead and build a building. So I'm going to build myself a dam here and confirm it. You can see that cost me 3 because it was on the lowest on the plains. You can see that the building was immediately added to the board. When you build, the selected build tile will get added to the build queue, which is tracked along here, and also all the resources you spent on building that building. Let's come down to your player board and have a closer look. So you can see this is the build tile, and these are in this shape, and these are the resources I spent. Each time I build a building, it slots into this top slot here, along with the resources, and then this whole dial rotates 1 spot. Once this has rotated all the way around and this is back on top, I will get this tile back so I'm able to use it again, and I'll also recover all of the resources I spent on it. Let's come back up to the actions and you can see how we can rotate this even faster. The next action we have is workshop, and these give you these spanner icons. For each spanner you get to rotate your dial 1 space. Next up, we have the machinery shop. This is how you can get more of these resources. So this is excavators. So you can pay 2 coins to get 1 excavator. That's only a one-off trade. You can't buy multiple. And this bottom spot, you can pay 5 coins to get an excavator and a concrete mixer. Next spot is the contract offers. This is how we can get contracts. So how contracts work are, they'll give you an amount of power you need to generate in a single power generation in order to get the rewards on the right. You can only claim 1 contract every time you generate power, and this is a good way of earning yourself money and victory points and getting bonus buildings out onto the board. You can simply mouse over each of these contracts to see exactly what it does. There are 3 levels of contracts. These are easy, medium, and hard. And there are also contracts at the top here. These are like objectives shared by all players, and the first person to achieve this will be able to claim this contract. Lastly, we have the patent office. This is where we can buy upgraded building tiles, and these will explain what they do when you mouse over the card. So these will do various different things and give you a way to build up the same building even faster. Let's come back to your player board. So as you build buildings up, you'll unlock slots that are going to be behind these tiles here. So you have to build from left to right. And when you unlock these slots, you'll immediately get to get this bonus at the top. And it's also an income. So every round you'll also get to do this at the beginning of each round. So you can see if I had 2 dams out, I would be able to rotate my dial once immediately and once every round. They start to get really good towards the end. This gives you 6 credits every round and immediately, and this even can give you 7 victory points every round and immediately. Under your third powerhouse, there is a unique ability unique to your character here. Simply mouse over it to see what they do. Now let's look at the scoring track. The scoring track is along the top of the board up here. Scoring takes place each round in Barrage. Each round, players will track their power generated along this pink track along here. The player who has generated the most power in a single round will earn victory points equal to this number up here, which is 6. And the person in second will get 2. Also in each round, there are additional scoring tiles placed along this board. You can see because this is the second round of the game, I've already removed the first one. These scoring tiles give you unique ways to score points each round during the game. And to be eligible to get these, you have to first get over 6 power. So as soon as you've achieved the 6 power mark, you are eligible to get points from these. And these normally have you multiply a certain thing and get 4 points for each of those things. So for this one, I would get 4 points for each unique technology I have, which are these ones from the patent office down here. So I had 2 of these, I would earn 8 points as long as I got above 6. However, if I finished the round and I was on 8 generated power, I fall under this -4 slot. This -4 minuses the amount of points I get from this tech. So in this case, if I had 2, I would get 8 -4, so I'd get 4 points. These accumulate as well. So if it was the 4th round and we were scoring this one and I had -4, -4, -4, I would get -12 to whatever my score was. You never get negative points from these though. You'll also gain income based on how far along this track you are. You can see these gold numbers at the bottom. So if you have generated 4 power in a turn, you'll earn 3 coins at the end of that round. You'll see you'll also earn 3 coins when you sit on 0. There is a negative to this, however. You'll earn also -3 points. Game will continue for 5 rounds. Each round, players will get 12 workers and place them all out onto action spaces. At the end of 5 rounds, check and see who is the winner. At the end of the game, you get a few bonus points for leftover resources, converted 5 to 1, and water stuck behind dams that you control. So in this case, black would score 1 point. There's also an endgame scoring card here, and I recommend you mouse over this to find out what it does. And first, second, and third place will score points respectively based on where they placed. If you ever want to find out more details about certain technologies, endgame scoring, or player abilities, I'd recommend downloading the rulebook and checking the back few pages. There's an appendix there and that will explain everything very clearly. I'll quickly jump and show you what this game looks like when you first open it up. When you first load into the game, you'll see several company/officer pairs laid out onto the board. Companies are these backboards here, and they all have a unique ability listed here on the 3rd powerhouse slot. And also each company will get a random officer assigned, which will give you another unique ability, which you can check by mousing over this character here. You'll also be asked to select a starting contract. You can pick from any of the ones listed here. Thank you for watching Let's Start Playing. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please like and subscribe. It will encourage me to create more. I hope you have fun playing Barrage. I'm sure you'll take one game to learn all the mechanics fully, but this should be more than enough to get you started. Thanks for watching.